The steamer trunk had leather handles, brass fittings, and a dark, hardboard shell. As such, it was like any other steamer trunk. You might say its only notable feature was its location, washed ashore on Rotherhithe Beach, where it lay looking soggy and pitiful, alone on the pebbles in the chilly morning sun. 9-year-old Fred Lindsay and his 7-year-old sister Enid were bickering and laughing as they crested the dune and got their first glimpse of it on the flats. Benny, their beloved Jack Russell, bounded over with his tongue flapping and commenced an exhaustive investigation with his probing nostrils. But the children were cautious. They glanced at one another, and Enid, the braver of the two, made the first move. She skipped toward the trunk, her head brimming with fantasies of pirates' treasure. This was the sort of thing that happened to little girls like her, she thought. They found treasure and got whisked away on adventures. As she drew closer, the stench rolled over her like the tide. It rooted her to the spot and made her gag. It smelt worse than anything the Thames had ever spewed up before. "What? What's the matter?" said Fred. Then the stench hit him too. Once they had got over the initial shock of it, Benny the Jack Russell was still frolicking around the trunk, the siblings decided they'd better try and crack it open. They didn't want to, not really, but they felt it their duty. Careful to breathe through his mouth, Fred dropped to his haunches and examined the brass clasp. It was caked with clumpy sludge from the bottom of the river, but otherwise seemed to be in decent working order. "Pass me that, would you?" he said, indicating a chipped bit of slate on the ground. Enid brought it over to him. The slate was heavy, so she needed both hands. He took it from her and swung for the clasp. The edge of the slate struck with a thump. Fred swung again. This time some of the dried mud came away like clay. One more swing, he thought, and they were in. It actually took about 6 more swings, but finally, with an eerie sigh of escaping air, the buckle snapped and the trunk lid splayed open. It made Fred and Enid jump. Even Benny was a bit suspicious. The 3 of them stood to examine what was inside. Neither of the children screamed, though both wanted to. Eventually it was Enid, the brave one, who broke the silence. "What have they done to his face?" she said.